I am impressed, Petsmart. Interesting. At night, switch to night specific bulb? No! Like, why? Why do you impress me and then you say things like that? Good morning, Reptilians. Welcome and welcome back to the channel. As you guys know, a little bit ago, maybe it was last week, I don't know, I'm recording this intro as I'm realizing how long this video is. I did a video where I compared Petco versus Petsmart's Bearded Dragon Care Guide, and it was too long, so I did a whole bunch at the same time. So this week we're going to be talking about ball pythons. Ball python is another reptile that is a beginner reptile because a lot of people get them as their first reptiles because they're somewhat easy, and so I thought it'd be really cool to compare Petco versus Petsmart's ball python care guide. So let's see what they have to say on these. All right, starting with Petco. Their average size as an adult, 4 to 5 feet, up to 30 years with proper care. Yes, and they are carnivore. Diet. Appropriately sized frozen rodents, thawed, warmed to above room temperature. Yes, love this. I love that they are encouraging the use of frozen thawed rodents as opposed to live rodents. Love that. Do not use a microwave to defrost frozen rodents and do not prepare them in the same area that you prepare food. If it is unavoidable, be sure to thoroughly disinfect the area. Yeah, I mean, I do mine in my kitchen because it is unavoidable, but I leave them in little bags and I always clean up after myself and obviously clean the bowls and all that because of course you would. If feeding your snake live rodents, do not leave them unattended. Live rodents can injure the snake, sometimes fatally. Love that they include that because a lot of people do not understand that. Love that that's included. Feeding. Feed juveniles once a week, adults once every 1 to 2 weeks. Yes. Feed in a separate tank so that your snake doesn't associate your hand or the habitat being opened with feeding. No, you don't have to do that. And actually, feeding in separate containers like that could cause your snake to get stressed out and regurgitate their food. So it's actually suggested not to do this because you're not supposed to handle a snake for 24 to 48 hours after they eat to make sure it all goes down and gets digested correctly. And of course, if you have them in a separate container and then you move them into their normal tank after they've eaten, you're handling them and they could regurgitate that food. There are certain circumstances that I do suggest feeding in other containers, like if your snake hasn't eaten in a really long time, but those are always special circumstances. Otherwise, just feed your ball python in their tank. Fresh, clean, chlorine-free water should be available at all times in a large enough bowl for your ball python to soak in. Yes. Housing. The size. Appropriately sized and shaped habitat for a baby ball python to accommodate normal behavior and exercise. At least a 20-gallon long. A 40-gallon breeder is recommended for an adult. Yes. I don't know what shape means. Are you supposed to get round tanks? Are they supposed to be circles? I don't know what that means. Why does it say shaped? I don't know what that means. Substrate. Aspen shavings, no. Mulch type, such as coconut fiber bedding or reptile bark, dampened sphagnum moss. So I'm not sure why they would even list aspen, especially not when it's right beside dampened sphagnum moss. Ball pythons should not be in aspen. Aspen doesn't hold humidity. Ball pythons do need a little bit of humidity, and when aspen gets wet, it molds, and you definitely don't want your animal breathing in mold. So I'm not sure why they would even list that. That doesn't even make sense. Habitat, provide a hiding area just large enough for your snake to fit inside in a branch or decor to climb on. Maintain 40 to 60% humidity, higher during shedding. More than one branch and one hide though. Have at least 2 hides for your ball python. Definitely have climbing areas for them. They love to climb. They love enrichment. Reptiles love enrichment. They need enrichment. Please make sure you have a lot of it in the tank. Temperature gradient 95 for the warm end and 78 for the cool end. Recommend radiant heat. I tend to recommend heat pads because ball pythons are nocturnal animals, which means they're going to be sleeping during the day, and that way they can sleep in their hot hide and not have to worry about coming out to heat up. Lighting, provide 8 to 12 hours of light daily. Nocturnal or infrared light should be used at night. No, it most certainly should not. They do not need any lights in their tank at nighttime. They're nocturnal. They're used to being out at night. Do not house different snake species together. Also, let's not house multiple ball pythons together. Doesn't matter if they're the same species or not. Let's just not put them together at all. Normal behavior. As your snake gets ready to shed, their eyes will turn a milky blue-gray over the course of a few days. Their body will start to dull, develop, may become irritable, avoid handling. Yes to all that. That is very important. I love that they have that in the normal behavior section so people don't panic. Grooming and hygiene. Snakes will regularly shed their skin. Ensure humidity of habitat is at appropriate level to allow your snake to shed properly. Yes, this is very much true. Never try to remove eye caps by yourself. Seek veterinary care. Don't know how I feel about that. You guys know Sterling's story with his eye caps, but at the same time, try to remove them yourself if you're comfortable with it, if you've watched videos or something of how to do it, if you believe in your ability to do it. Otherwise, take them to the vet, but don't let your vet take the animal away out of your sight. Make sure they do it in your vicinity where you can watch them. Word of caution from me. Signs of a healthy animal: active and alert, clear eyes, except when shedding, eats regularly, healthy skin, regularly sheds skin in one complete piece. That's a very big one, free of mice and ticks. Eats regularly is not going to be a sign of a healthy ball python, because ball pythons are notorious for hunger strikes, and they do this whether they are healthy or not. They just feel like it sometimes, so they don't eat for months. Don't worry if your ball python does this. It is completely normal. It is not a red flag that they are unhealthy, because it is also listed reluctant to eat as a red flag. That is not a red flag. If it is accompanied by other things, then it definitely could be a red flag, but most of the time with ball pythons, it isn't. Vomiting, definitely vomiting. Unusually frequent or infrequent shedding. Yeah, if you notice some weird patterns, definitely. Lethargic. Abnormal feces. Bumps or spots on skin, labored breathing, difficulty shedding, white cheesy substance in mouth, also mucus, look for mucus. They also just listed abnormally shedding as a red flag. Yeah, it can be, but big thing, if your ball python is having a hard time shedding, try a humidity box, a humid hide for your ball python to shed in. If they won't use it, like Sterling won't, just put some sphagnum moss into his hot hide or into whichever hide he's hanging out in when he's shedding, and that should help. Love that all these health issues say contact vet, contact vet, contact vet, contact vet, because yes, if you have health issues with your ball python, contact the vet. It may be hard to find one, but just call around until you can. If you are contacting vets and they're like, oh, we don't see snakes, ask if they know anyone that does. Definitely take your ball python into the vet if something is wrong. Actually was not terribly disappointed by that one. I mean, there was a few things on there, but I wasn't super terribly disappointed like I was the bearded dragon ones last time. So let's look at Petsmart. Last time Petsmart's bearded dragon one was better, so let's compare. 5 things to know about your ball python. Ball pythons, also called royal pythons, live for 30 years, grow up to 5 feet long, curl into a tight ball when nervous, hence their name. Docile, naturally curious, more active at night. Yes to all of this. How do I set up the ball python's home? Adult ball python should live alone. Yes. In a glass terrarium that's at least 40 gallons in volume and has a screened lid. Definitely yes. Ball pythons can also live in like Sterilite bins, PVC tanks that don't have screen lids, because they actually do better with a higher humidity. Also, I don't think the other one might have addressed this, but baby ball pythons can be very timid, so starting a baby out in a 40 gallon is not going to be okay. Sometimes it is, but a lot of times they are not very comfortable in bigger tanks. This does say adults should live in this, but it doesn't address what size baby should live in. So 20 gallon long for a baby. For really small babies, even smaller Sterilite bins are great. What do I put in my python's terrarium? Line the bottom terrarium with 2 inches of aspen. No, we've already addressed this. Please don't do that. Or coconut fiber, yes. Scoop the poop frequently and treat your snake to fresh bedding once a month. Yeah, so cocoa fiber, I've been using Pro Cocoa. It works really good, holds in humidity really good. A topsoil that doesn't have any kind of manure or vermiculite or chemicals or any kind of additives, anything like that would be good. Sterling's tank actually use a mixture of Pro Cocoa and coconut fiber just to keep in that humidity even more. But yeah, provide a wide, shallow water dish for your snake. Yes. Stock the tank with lots of hides for hiding. Yes. Lots of hides, not one in one branch, lots of hides. 2 hiding spots terrarium, 1 on the warm side, 1 on the cool side. Yes. Make sure nothing in your snake's tank will wobble or topple when your pet slithers onto it. Yes, this is very important. You don't want to put a giant stick into your ball python's tank and have them climb up it and it fall on them, because then they are pulling that giant stick and all of their body weight on top of themselves, and it could injure them. So yes, definitely make sure that anything you put in this tank is secure, because they will climb it. And when they're an adult, they are very heavy, so they are going to climb it and they are going to pull with their weight onto that thing. Heats and lights should have 2 microclimates. Oh, getting fancy, Petsmart. During the day, your python likes a temperature between 85 and 90 on the warm side and 75 to 80 on the cool side. Yes, temperature gradients are important. Heat bulb restraining humidor will keep warm end at the right temperature, and a thermometer at each end will help you regulate the habitat overall. I recommend a temperature gun, not a thermometer, because a thermometer is only going to get the temperature on the glass in that one spot. That doesn't really help you with basking spots. Like I said before, in the other one I use a heat pad with a thermostat, very important. Instead of a heat bulb, ceramic heat emitters would work really well too for like an all night being able to have it on. Habitat humidity between 50 and 60%. Use a hygrometer, yes. How to increase humidity. Add a humid hide. Yes, humid hide. They mentioned that. Wonderful. Increase length of misting as well as frequency. Change bedding to something that retains moisture. Yes, very important. I don't know why they would even suggest aspen. That's silly. They need light that mimics the day and night. Oh, they actually suggest a UVB bulb. Super interesting. I actually don't use UV lighting for my ball pythons because they are nocturnal and they don't come out in the daytime, but that is super interesting that they suggest that. I am impressed, Petsmart. Interesting. At night, switch to a night specific bulb? No! Like, why? Why do you impress me and then you say things like that? What do they eat? Carnivores. Primarily be fed frozen rodents. Warm and thaw the rodent according to the package directions before offering it to your pet at mealtime. I don't get packaged rodents from PetSmart because my snakes do not like them. I get them from a local pet store or buy them at Repticons and stuff, so there are no instructions. Basically, you just pull it out. You can defrost it on a counter all day, or you can defrost it by using some room temperature water, warm water, and just kind of slowly get the water warmer. I then have to heat the water, not the rodent, just the water in the microwave for Sterling, and soak it in very warm water for a little bit to get his mice warm, just a little bit warmer than Sylvanas'. You can use your temperature gun that you use to get the hot spot of the ball python to get the temperature of the rodents to make sure that they're a good temperature. Feed your snake once a week at nighttime using tongs. Yes, the Petco didn't even mention tongs. They want little fingers to be bit. Some adult snakes may not eat for several weeks at a time. They may also skip feedings during shedding or due to habitat temperature change. Yes, if your pet skips more than 2 meals, contact your veterinarian. Not necessarily. We already went over that. It's just a thing ball pythons do. Try to handle your ball python for 3 to 4 days to give your new pet a chance to acclimate to their surroundings. Love that. Love that they add those in all the care guides. Then there's like things you should contact your vet if you see more time hiding, which again, if they're shedding, they're gonna hide nonstop while they're shedding because they can't see, because their eyes cloud over and they go blind. Eating or drinking less, weight loss. Weight loss is a big one. So like I said, ball pythons are known to go on hunger strikes, but when they go on hunger strikes, they don't really lose weight. If your ball python is going on a hunger strike and you notice that they're getting skinny, definitely a huge red flag that you need to address that. Shedding problems. Again, if your ball python is having shedding problems, it doesn't necessarily mean that you need to take them to the vet. Sometimes it does. Sometimes it means that they have mites or parasites, but a lot of times it just means you need to increase the humidity or throw humid hide into your tank. Discolored skin, definitely discharge from eyes, nose, or mouth. Yes, runny droppings for more than 2 days. And then it talks about how all animals can potentially carry viral, bacterial, fungal, and parasitic diseases contagious to humans. Thoroughly wash your hands with warm soap water before and after contact with any pet or its habitats. Super fun looking at those, and hopefully a good deviation from my normal just ball python care guide, just to take a look into Petco and PetSmart's care guides to see what they are recommending to people that are buying pets from them. As always, if you have not already, please feel free to follow me on other socials and like, subscribe, and hit that bell for notifications every single time I put out a new video, which is every Sunday and some Wednesdays. This week's Instagram shout out is Amy Lynn Knits for following me on Instagram and going through and liking a whole bunch of my stuff. And this week's subscriber shout out is It's So Jade for commenting on my stuff and being super supportive. Thank you guys both so much. You are the bee's knees. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I hope you have a fantastic day. Bye. Okay, we're gonna record ball pythons, but I don't know if I'm gonna be able to use it because this video is super long, so maybe I can use it after this week. Good morning, reptilians. Welcome and welcome back to the video. Good morning. Ball pythons are another pet that is a very much is a beginner. People get them, and because a lot of people get them as their first pets. I love that they are encouraging the use. Some adult snakes. Let's see. Oh, I completely missed that. Contact vet. Contact vet. I did not screen record this.